Hey, hello, surprise! I know you weren't expecting me today, but I promised that this week is our conditional series. All the conditionals explained in 1 week. Promised, okay? So, we've already covered the zero conditional, the conditional where there is no real condition because the situation is always true. Do you remember? If you want to have a good time, you need to spend time with people who understand you. If you want to relax, you just find a nice place and read a book or talk to somebody who is a friend. Okay, good conversation is something that always helps people relax and sort of tune to some more relaxed, nice state of mind if they need it. Okay, so these are general truths. They are always true. They are expressed with 2 sentences in present. Then we said, hey, let's focus on the first conditional for a second. And we tried to imagine what happens to something in the future if it has a condition, okay? So for instance, if she studies, then when in the future she will pass her exam. If I see Suzanne, I will tell her that you are asking for her. I will, so all right, okay, tell them I asked about them. Good. But today we're focusing on a conditional that many of my students find particularly difficult. No panic. Stay with me. I'm here, okay? We're in it together, you and I. All right? Okay, stay with me. It's the second conditional. It's the what if conditional, okay? It's the conditional that we use when we want to imagine a hypothetical situation. Let's take the situation of the exam. If she studies, she will pass it. I'm looking towards the future. I'm imagining a likely situation. I have a friend who studies very hard, and she passes her exam as a consequence of it. In a less positive scenario, imagine somebody who doesn't really like to study, right? Okay, a person who finds it difficult to concentrate. And well, you can see that it's not a very likely situation, not a very probable situation for them to pass the exam and say, well, if they studied, they would pass this exam. Because it's not a difficult one, everybody can pass it, but they didn't study, right? Or they don't study. So the difference between first and second is the level of probability. If she studies, she will pass it. And then the second is, if she studied, she would pass it. Okay? More hypothetical, less probable. But it's not all about probability, okay? So many of my students say, oh, this is because it's not likely. Yes, but it's not everything, okay? Have a look at this sentence. Read it with me. If I were you, I'd watch Love, Simon. Okay, so it's a movie recommendation. I heard a lot about this film. It's a very good movie. So it's actually recommended by one of my favorite podcasts. So I am going to watch it. And it says, if I were you. First of all, why were and not was? Suzanne, did you make a mistake? No, I didn't. But if you say was, it's fine as long as you don't write it, okay? In formal, especially written English, we use were for all the forms of the verb to be. I will explain it when you and I sit down to study the subjunctive mode. Okay, but it's not today. For today, just remember that in the conditionals, instead of using was for all the persons, so first, second, third person singular, we use were, just like in plural. Okay? If you want it to sound less formal, sort of more spoken, you can say was. It's common to hear it, okay? But grammatically, this is still, don't look at the second sentence. It's still more correct. Okay, so you would say, hey, Suzanne, you told me that the second conditional is all about probability. How probable it is that I might be you? Well, it's not probable at all, I'm afraid. Okay, do you agree? So it means that second conditional is used for more. It's used for more than just probability and likelihood and the difference between them, okay? We use second conditional to give advice and to create general hypothetical statements about now. If I were you, when? Now. I would watch Love, Simon, a very good movie. Watch. I would watch. I would watch. I'd watch. Okay? So the funny thing here is you can sort of see the past. Okay? And there is would here, but we don't mean that it's a past statement. No. It's a hypothetical statement about now. Okay? If I had a day off, I'd go to the beach. I'd take my best friend and I'd go to the beach. And we'd, can you hear the would? We'd just read books and maybe drink a cocktail and we'd just chat and we'd go for a walk. Can you hear the d? Okay, so in writing, it's normal to find you would, I would. But when we speak, we create the apostrophe D, I'd. Okay. Do you remember the first conditional? If you don't, there is a video, but I'm sure you do. So, in the first conditional, we had if and present. Here we have if and past. And then in the main clause, we had will. Here we have would. And I told you, there is just one will per conditional. And said, yes, Suzanne, I will not put two wills in a conditional. Okay, and here the same rule applies. No two modals in a conditional. Wait. You looked at the bottom sentence of the blackboard, haven't you? You did, of course you did. Okay, all right, have a look at this. I'd teach you all online if I could. Haha, this is would. That's a modal verb. And this is could. Suzanne, did you make a mistake? No, I didn't. Because, my friend, this is not a modal verb here. This is past from can, okay? It's a main verb in my sentence, okay? Just like this one here. It's a main verb, okay? So, the rule is, to remember, you can reverse the order. You cannot mix up the content. So if, in the second conditional, if is followed by past simple. Yes, it is. And if it has the form to be, we use were, of course. Okay, and then in the main clause, we have just one modal verb, which is would generally, but it's not the only one. You can find others. Okay, I'd teach you everything I know. If I had more time. But because I don't, we need to split this lessons and conditionals over the week. But it's fine. This way you understand it better. Okay? It's really not that complicated, I promise. You just need to focus a little more, okay? And because I want you to memorize this sentence in a second conditional, if I were you, is the best way to give advice. If I were you, I'm going to ask you guys for advice. I'd like to buy my little sister a present. She is 17. What should I get her? All right, so you probably said, if I were you, I'd buy her. Can you hear it? I'd buy her a book. Of course, books are the best presents. Okay, even though my granny said that clothes are the best presents. But it depends on the granny, I guess. Okay, I want to leave you with something that will make conditionals nicer and less problematic, okay? And that's the first sentence, the first words of Eric Clapton's song Tears in Heaven. Okay, do you want to listen to it with me? It's Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven. Okay, listen carefully. This starts with a beautiful guitar. It's going to be conditional. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Okay, I'm pausing the video on purpose because it will make you guys sing the song during the day, okay? It's called the Zeigarnik effect. So just stick to this. Would you know my name? You sing. If I saw you in heaven. There you go. Okay. Would you know my name? It's a question. Would you buy Ludwika a book if she were your sister? Or less formal, if she was your sister. Okay. I'm sure you would. She loves books. I love books too. Haha. Okay. So this is the second conditional. You guys, it's really simple. Just remember Eric Clapton. Would you know my name? Okay, and with this melody, with this conditional in your head, I'm leaving you until tomorrow when we get to the third conditional, okay? But don't panic. I'm with you. I'm here. We're in it together. It's going to be all right in the end. I promise. Have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.